Don't do that. It's finally started to come in. Every time when I think it's not working. Anyway, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. We've had a bit of a weird start because it's decided not to work. Anyway, we are previewing, as you see for the thumbnail and the title, the Chelsea game. Massive game, Alex. Massive for a week of Leicester City football. All sorts of emotions, all sorts of results that have gone on in the Premier League. But first of all, I want to say thank you for watching. If you get your comments in down below, tell me what you think. It's going to be a massive game. And also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell because we've got Carefree Lewis G coming on the channel. I'm trying to sort out the exact time. It'll probably be about 3 and 6. So if you're available then, get your comments in and make sure you want to tune in for this one because obviously he's a massive guest, friend of the show. Anyway, Alex, just to kind of, now that a couple of the dust has settled a little bit more, I'm still, to be fair, buzzing over the result, and B, Chelsea have lost. I don't want to touch too much on Chelsea because Lewis is coming on next week. However, I mean, the momentum going in, when I saw that Chelsea lost, I went, oh, that's going to work in our favour. And I thought that was going to be such an incredible thing to achieve. But what are your thoughts? Because obviously this week has been crazy. I mean, trying to get all this organised is enough in itself.
Yeah, it's been an absolute roller coaster. And I think everyone here has, been dealing with those emotions. One thing is, with us being able to pull out a victory at Old Trafford and, getting those 3 key points was so important. And then watching Chelsea lose to Arsenal, even bigger. But, so on, in the Premier League table, like that's huge for us. I think you need to look at that in a real positive. But when I look at the FA Cup this weekend, it's a completely different animal. And I think that's one thing that we really need to focus in on is because both teams, Leicester coming in with a win, Chelsea coming in with a loss, both teams are going to be determined. Chelsea's going to be very focused in the fact that we just lost to Arsenal. We need to come out, as hard as we can for this match. And Leicester beating Manchester United, at Old Trafford for the first time since 1998 is going to be like, let's do this. We are ready to go. So I think it's going to be a really, really hard-fought battle, which I'm so excited to watch. I'm stressed already, but it's going to be fantastic.
I'm still riding for the victory. Apologies if I've got maybe some internet issues. I've just seen my icon pop up, but I've done the best I can. Anyway, yes, we're going to have to just do the best we can because even though we're going into it on paper on the best run of form, I think the issue is it doesn't matter when it comes to the final. It's literally all bets are off. In a good and a bad way, because we can be honest, Chelsea do have a better squad than us. They have a better player for player than us. However, we'll get the injury updates and stuff for there on tomorrow's show, so make sure to stay tuned. But for our side, let's just get straight into it. Brendan Rodgers was asked recently about the press conference. Obviously, there's only one person who anybody's talking about, Alex, and that person, Johnny Evans. So Brendan Rodgers has said he's really, quote unquote, really hopeful that Johnny Evans will be fit to play for Saturday's FA Cup final. He quoted in saying, "We're giving him another day. He's progressed really well. He looks good, but we'll see what the reaction and make a final decision tomorrow. We're positive he's going to play. It's a showpiece game, which you want to be involved in. If he's available, it's a huge boost." And I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? We've seen how much of an impact he's made to the squad by him coming out, but now he's in the squad. That's a massive indication that we're going in the right direction, and he's going to be so key to us in that final because again, he's got 5. I think he's won the FA Cup a few times as well. He knows what he's doing in this situation.
Yeah, and with his leadership and his knowledge is one of the key things that you need to really focus in on here. And yeah, you know what? He's got a bad leg. I could see, Evans being like, just, do whatever you can to make me get into this game. And I think, I think I read someone, I think I said it during one of our chats, I think it was James. He said, I think you'll see Evans even on one leg go into this game. I think that's what this game means to a lot of players here. They're going to go into this. I think there's a lot more players than you actually expect that are, banged up and injured that are going to be like, no, I'm playing this game. This game means more than anything. And I think this game will not only, it's a huge game, massive for the club, and for the fans, but I also think this game is huge for next week's match against Chelsea, because we're right back facing them next week, in the Prem. And that's huge, because that will dictate, if we get 3 more points from that game, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure mathematically, we have secured, Champions League for next season. So I think this game, not only is it massive just because it is the final of the FA Cup, but I think it will dictate moving forward. It's huge. And it's going to be one exciting game, just full of every single emotion that you could possibly imagine. And you're going to feel them all at once.
Yeah.
And it's going to be weird. And it's going to be fun. And you're going to wish those 90 minutes go as fast as possible at some point. But you're going to enjoy every single second of it.
Yeah, let's hope so. Because, again, I think we're not mathematically safe, but we're pretty much... I think they need to go on their run at the moment and see if they can complete. But we're more than fine in the position we are in. And anyway, I think if we are going to lose out to somebody, it will be Chelsea, because they've lost that game against Arsenal, that will go down. Anyway, but yes, it's going to be an absolutely brilliant time. And Mark says, yeah, we're on our way to the Champions League. We're on our way. And it just seems so. I mean, I think mathematically we've got Europa League football for next year. Now it's just pushing on to that next level and seeing what we could do. Yeti Boy says, I'd rather win the FA Cup, beating them in the league. I think everybody feels the same. Also with Chelsea, we'll probably get into this again tomorrow. But the issue is with Chelsea, their squad's so good, and B, probably this is their third priority. I'd say Champions League, we've only got one more match there. Then they've got one match, and then they've got top 4, and then probably this is their third priority. From what I've heard as well, Chelsea, they took their eye off the ball against Arsenal because they knew he had nothing ready to play for, even though they're not statistically safe yet. Anyway, there's another thing that another good thing that we actually missed out on Monday, on Tuesday. Again, all days are messed up at the moment. Somebody that was on the bench that we didn't realize. I'm going to butcher this name. Manwanhise. Somebody that I've never heard before. I kind of follow the under-23s a little bit, but I didn't even see him for this time. And so I was thinking, okay, who is he? Where is he? Where does he come from? And then the match kicked off, and then that seemed to be the least important thing. Anyway, Brendan Rodgers has actually put him on the bench. He's 18 years old, if anybody wants more information. And Rodgers has been impressed. He's been played primarily on the wing. For the past couple of weeks, been training with the team, and he's been the top assister, assist maker for the. So the fact is, Brendan Rodgers giving them time to sit on the bench, and I think he's quoted in saying, he's a young player that I like. I've seen him for the under 18s. He's quick, he's direct, he's got lots of strength, lots of potential, but also a lot of work to do. Bringing young players is someone like Luke that we've done before and giving him experience. So it's quite good that Brendan Rodgers, even at this stage in the season, is willing to put a player in from the under 23, under 18s, not even under 23s. Like Luke Thomas came out of nowhere. But we didn't really touch on it in the match, Alex, but what do you think?
Well, first off, I actually didn't even know. As funny as that sounds, I was so focused in on the match itself that, I didn't even realize who was actually on the bench. And that's, I will be fully honest. Even today, when we talked prior to actually starting to record, you're like, oh yeah, by the way, and I was like, didn't even know, because I think my mindset was so geared towards the game that every single thing other than that, I just kind of threw out the window. But that's really awesome, though. As an 18-year-old, being given that opportunity, that is incredible, because I could totally see, Brendan Rodgers really focusing in on seeing this kid's got skill. This kid has lots of potential, so why not give him the opportunity? And that is huge.
So obviously, again, if you look at that bench, we have got strength and depth. I mean, Maddison, Ward, Amati, Chowdhury, Ricardo Pereira, Mendy, Pratt, Fuchs, and then Manwanhise. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. I've just seen it online. However, that's one of the examples of it, Alex. But yeah, as you were saying, it's a good opportunity, and also that's the position that. Is it lagging?
Oh, yes.
Sorry, guys. I'm having major internet issues at the moment, and I don't know why this is the case. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. Again, I'm just going to see if I can unplug it and plug it back in. But again, it looks fine on my side. But yes, bear with everybody. I'll try and see if I can. I'm just trying to see what it looks like on the end, because is it back better now, Alex? I just update me or any kind of words.
It's 50-50. I can hear you.
Okay. Well, as long as you can hear me, we'll get on to one point. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, after finishing his Luton Town, is back. What do you think of him? Do you think he'll finish the season? But obviously, it's good that he's got a few matches more to try and secure, to try and build with the team now that the championship has finished.
Oh, I am absolutely ecstatic for Dewsbury Hall. I think that's one way I could easily say. I've been keeping an eye on him while he's been at Luton, and he has the makings to be one heck of a player. I've been buzzing about him coming back. I really think that he's going to make an impact in the squad next year. I think he's going to be a bench player, but I really do think we have a player here that could really change and make a difference when needed. And I think him coming back from Luton, having the confidence that he's been able to build over this season is huge. And when he does, when he gets in that practice with the team and, with all the players and whatnot, I think that's just going to help him and guide him even further in his development. So moving forward, no, I'm excited. I think he's a player to watch out for, and I think you're going to see him challenged next season in more ways than one. Yeah,
definitely so. And another, obviously, we'll talk about the match a little bit, but one other piece of information is something that we talked about just before the show, Alex. Something that we both saw sorry, I'm just trying to get the screen up. I think the internet is back. I'm just not sure what's happening at the moment. The screen quality is definitely gone. Jason Bourne, that was it. Because from what he's told as well, it looks like they're recruiting extensively from the under 23s and under 18s for the summer, which is really interesting to see. And also the first signing they would like is Ben Grist. I don't really know much about him, but from what I've heard, he's a real big talent. So Leicester City, again, not compromising on what they know. They're trying and they're going for it, and they're going to go ahead with it. But again, they're not just building into the first team, Alex. They're building all the way through the squad, and they're getting from the bottom up and building because they've realised that they've got something. It's just brilliant to see, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that you're really seeing within the club. It's not just you see a lot of clubs where they're like, oh, we'll just jam pack our club and not really focus in on all the youth. And then all of a sudden, you start selling these players, and they're like, oh, why are we jamming in this guy named Sam Ham or whatever? And they're like, oh, because we don't have any other person that we can figure out. Sorry, I've been playing Football Manager way too much, and that was one of the names that came up. But when you look at Leicester and what they're actually doing, it's huge because you're developing these young talents and these players that are really that can do a ton if they are given the proper development and the proper training to facilitate their skills and to really figure that out and really develop that. So I'm excited because I think you're going to start seeing more players come up through the ranks. And, we're not always going to have to look for, that 50 million pound player or whatnot. You're going to be able to bring all these players up, and you might not even keep all of them. You might be able to be like, we developed 12 players. We're going to keep 5 of them. We're going to send 4 out on loan. We still have 4 that are ready to play, and we can make a good profit off of every single one of them. It's smart market. It's smart business because, especially with how everything's been going this season with, the pandemic and whatnot, prices for players has really dropped dramatically. And just, how they've made their money throughout the season, it has declined. So you have to look at this way of being like, okay, we'll get the young players, we'll develop them, we'll throw them through our ranks, we'll see what happens. I think it's genius.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think so too. Yeti boys roasted me. I've got nothing for this, mate. Beyond the internet issues, it's not better. It's probably in. I'm right in the internet issues at the moment. However, hopefully you'll be able to hear me a little bit better. The icon seems to have gone. Something I want to mention, obviously, Alex. We've talked about. Obviously, we've talked about Johnny Evans. This is the thing. So normally I get up my squad builder because I kind of know what I'm doing with that one. Get it up here. So this is what I think we'll do. As again, nobody's really gonna stand out and go, oh yeah, they're definitely. There's no real shock here. The only place that I think I was looking at either on this left hand side, do we play Brighton and Castagna? Does Ricardo get a go? Does Luke Thomas after scoring that amazing goal? But it's the final against. I mean, who are your pairings for the wing backs? Because I think the rest of them pretty much pick themselves. Maybe with a case of Maddison, who's slightly injured.
So Vardy and Nacho are clear starters. You know, Nacho has been a force to be reckoned with within this whole FA Cup. So, you know, there's no way he sits, and just the way he's been playing of late, there's no way you bench him. Vardy is another player, you know, he's in the FA Cup final here. There's no way you're benching Vardy here. Maddison, I think, is a clear starter in this. You know, he was rested against Man United. And I don't think Perez is your go-to player in this situation. I think Maddison still gets, you know, the start over him, even though he hasn't been fully fit. Tielemans and Ndidi, you know, we're not even gonna bother because they're starting. Fofana and Suyuncu are starting. My only concern is that if Evans doesn't start, it changes things. And I do think Evans will start because, you know, it's one of the matches where you have to look at being like, you know, he's going to do whatever it takes to join in. So I do think Evans will start there. Now it comes to the wing backs. Castagna is definitely going to start. You know, he's a clear-cut player that deserves to play. He's been, you know, fighting this entire season, you know, not only through injury, but he's been determined, and I think he deserves to start this. And he's been great for the club. Now,
sorry, I have to stop you there a second. I don't think Castagna was. I think so. For example, recently in the back three we were playing, obviously Fofana through the middle, Soyuncu to the left, and Castagna to the right. In that, I thought he marked his man very well, but his passing out from the back was not very good, to be perfectly honest with you. Especially in the first half, but everybody was poor. But he gave the ball, he retrieved the ball, but he gave it away quite cheaply. That would be my only concern. Again, he was great. His defensive work was great, but he gave the ball away too easily.
Yeah, I still think I'd start him. You know what? Like, I think you got to start him. I think he's still reliable. And that's not a knock to Thomas. I think Thomas,
yes,
you know, is going to be on the bench, and I really do think Thomas will come in depending on formation and tactics, you know, and the score at halftime, all that. My biggest, I think you hit it perfectly right with Albrighton going to be slotting in there. Ricardo isn't fit, and when he has played, you can see the gaps, and you know, he's just not the Ricardo that we are, you know, so used to seeing. So I do definitely think we're going to see Albrighton there. And just the way that he's been playing of late as well. I think he's one of those players that is rarely mentioned and often forgotten, but he always brings 120%. And I think you got to look at it in a way being like, you know, we could be talking about something completely different because he's the reason why, you know, Soyuncu got his header. That's huge. Yeah. So I think at this point he deserves it. The only person, I just kind of thought about it right now, if Maddison isn't fully fit, I would consider bringing in Pratt. I think he has earned the right to play.
This is my thing. Obviously, we've not seen him that much since he's come back from the injury. Since he's had that injury for 4 months, he pulled his leg against Stoke, and he was available on bench. We've not even seen anything from him. We've seen Hamza Chowdhury come on. Now, again, I know I'm Hamza Chowdhury, but I was thinking, okay, if you want somebody in that midfield doing that job, surely Dennis Pratt's your man. However, it is what it is. But I'm with you. That was one player I was going to mention. Dennis Pratt. I mentioned him for the Man United preview. He was a player that I really wanted to play and really wanted to start because he's such a great player, and we've seen him working in so many different formations, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this match. But he's a player that I don't think is getting enough credit because there's obviously towards the beginning of the season, we were seeing a right connection between him, Tielemans, and Castagna. There was a real flow and dynamicism between the three of them. If we could kind of attach that all back together, that could be definitely something that we could work on. However, I'm with you. You can't break up Tielemans and Maddison. I mean, them two are Tielemans and Ndidi. Them two are just amazing. I mean, we mentioned them both for the post-match against Man United. Were just insane. Keeping Mata and Van der Beek, both are great players, quiet, was fantastic. And I think both of them in this game will be pivotal towards our performance.
Oh, and I think we've said this in many games. I think this game will be decided in the midfield. Mm-hmm. And I really do believe that with Ndidi and Tielemans, if they are both on, it is not even a question. They will shut down any player in the league down that midfield.
Yes. And also, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
Finished. One thing as well for their midfield, the person that I was most worried about is N'Golo Kante. And he looks like, we'll get more information tomorrow from Lewis, but he looks like a maybe. And for me, that's fantastic. I mean, N'Golo, we know firsthand what he does. He won it. He got us into, where's it gone? The other one, Champions League. He got us into the Champions League the first time. Massive player for us. And I think if he's a doubt, that makes me a lot more confident because you know what you're going to get from N'Golo every single game.
Yeah, and it's a shame that you're saying that because we all love Conte. But like in these types of moments, you need to do whatever you can to be like, okay, how are we going to get this win? Because when he's in the midfield, he's just so good. So I really do think that this game will be decided in the midfield. And just to go back on Pratt, he is a great player. He's been very patient with the club, and I have to give him credit for that because he's been a part of the Belgium squad for a while now, and he's kind of biding his time. And I really hope it pays off because I really do think we have a player in him that can provide those performances when you really need it. And I really do believe that he is going to be such an asset next season when we are playing in Europe. Because when you need the rest for this, for players, he's going to be one of those players that you're like, it's your turn. You're going to get the game time today because, X and Y are tired. We need them to rest. It's your turn to do this. And I think he's going to be able to step up in many ways because he's ready for that.
I think so too. And again, it's kind of the bolstering of the squad. We looked at the bench today and it was stacked. I mean, some of the players that we had was fantastic. It wasn't as good as the three substitutions that Man United brought on, but still, I mean, we are building something here. Obviously, if you will probably touch on some of the rumours and stuff after the season because they're just flying everywhere and there's just too much football and too much important football at the moment to really touch on, Alex.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the big thing. I think we're going to sit down at the end of the season and just really dissect everything because it has been a wild year. It has been a wild season. I know yourself and myself, we have been completely blown away by just the performances this season and by the expectations that they've really blown out of the water. Because I think if you and I sat down, September of last year, and we're like, yeah, Leicester are going to be battling the top four all season. And they're going to be in the FA Cup final, we'd both look at each other and probably laugh.
And clear out the group stages with ease of the Europa League. With the amount of injuries that we've had as well.
Yeah. And I think that's so key. And I think right now, that's just the wild thing is that, once these final 3 games are done, we only got 3 more games. We're going to sit down and we're really going to dissect everything and be like, wow, what a season we witnessed. All the highs, all the lows. It's going to be wild. I'm very, very excited for these last 3 matches. They're going to be unbelievable. They're going to be heart-pounding, stressful, you name it. And, why not start it off, with a match at Wembley for the FA Cup? It's going to be wild. I mean,
it literally is going to be so unbelievable. I don't know what I'm going to feel because I've not experienced a final like I've not experienced a final with Leicester City ever. So this is going to be such a strange moment. And again, the whole city is getting together. I've tried to book like a place to sit outside because you can't get anywhere. So I'm going to have to watch it at home and then run into town as soon as. I'll try and figure out the YouTube live stream. I'm going to try and live stream it, guys, because if you can see that in person, and I know something will happen, we'll want to do post-match, but I'm thinking the best thing to do is head towards the city centre, or head towards the ground and see what people are doing, because that would be insane. If you guys want to have that, yeah, make sure you let us know, because that's something that I want to do for you guys, but also the people like Alex and people like the North American Foxes, who have had a lot on this show as well, that can't get down to the ground and haven't experienced something like that. It's not the same, but it's as good as we're going to get.
Yeah, I got this prime spot located just a little bit farther away from my TV. It's called my couch, and I'm very much looking forward to sitting down and just watching this unfold. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be extremely stressful. But I'm going to love it.
If it's anything like Man United, I'd be hiding behind the couch. I'm not trying to bring it back to that, but
I'm going to be
the reason why I'm not wearing a purple shirt today. Let's just say that it's in the wash.
I'm going to be pacing all over the place. I already know what's going to happen.
It's going to be unbelievable. But apart from that, Alex, have you got anything else to touch on? Because again, I've run a little bit dry because I'm like, I don't want to touch too much on Chelsea and stuff, because we've got that tomorrow. We've got a big show tomorrow. So anything else you want to touch on? Because again, this is going to be such an important game.
Soak it in, enjoy it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's the biggest thing I can say. Secondly, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. We would love every single one of you watching to hit that subscribe button so you'll know exactly when the next video that we are posting comes up.
And if you haven't already, check out the channel. We've got 2 interviews from 2 Leicester City players in 2 days. One of them just before this, and 2 amazing strikers, Hannah Kane and I think Charlie Devlin. I can't remember her name. Anyway, Devlin. Make sure you check them out. Massive interviews. Hannah's first one as well on her own. So make sure you go and tell her how awesome she is, because she did a fantastic job for the first time. Bearing in mind, she's not got any experience. So make sure you go and check them out after this. The video is just finished. So thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure you subscribe. Ton of notifications. So when we go live, you can be part of them. And thank you, Yeti Boy. Great show again. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate that. And we'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.